There's a new reality that is gradually set in over the past couple of years, and that is our rate of economic growth has slowed down. You know, the finance minister himself has said it's 5 to 6%, and it seems unlikely that we'd get back to 8-9% for quite some time. So I think all companies, Indian or multinational, you have to adjust to this reality.
Adjusting to the reality of slower growth can be deflating for a country manager typically accustomed to high rates of growth in emerging markets like India. But this is something that managers find easier to explain to the board at the headquarters, given that the HQ itself is dealing with a global slowdown. What puts managers in a tough spot is explaining the policy paralysis and, worse still, the policy flip-flops.
And the most devastating no-confidence vote is coming from the big, long-term money that India needs. This as FDI slipped about 21% last fiscal. And the beginning of the downslide, many believe, was the then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee's budget of the year 2012-2013, in which he announced a retrospective tax on investments. Vodafone was a case in point, and the General Anti-Avoidance Rules or GAR provisions another. The Supreme Court has put action against Vodafone on hold, and the government in January this year announced that it has postponed the implementation of GAR provisions by 2 years to the 1st of April 2016. But then again, many believe that the damage has already been done.
At a very broad level, I think MNCs would get queasy when they would, when such decisions are passed. Not for any reason, not for any other reason, but the fact that retrospectively, if decisions start getting challenged, then there is no end to it. Now, one may argue that, in a developing economy or in an opportunity like has emerged here, there's an opportunity cost for anybody to enter, as well as the machinery to take decisions so that opportunities are encashed. In the process, there may be some quick decisions that are taken which may not be seemingly right. And I think that is what has probably happened in this case. But we need to realize that when there's an opportunity cost to some opportunity, you may make some minor, mistakes. You can't retrospectively change them and then, tell somebody that now you will be penalized for it.
When you look at the global context today, I think our country also needs to compete with the rest of the other growing countries in the world. And government needs to make sure that there is a clarity, both medium term, long term, because you're competing with multinationals. Like when we look at Dow, Dow will look at, should I invest in China, Indonesia or India? Then each country where there is a lot more clarity and in their policies and lot more predictability in their policy, that's when the government needs to really work hard and bringing that up in the system. At the same time, as a multinational, we also need to understand the lay of the land, how this country is designed, and make sure that based on that lay of land, you define your priorities in the country. When I look at Dow, there are a number of things we are doing. We invest in people, we invest in technology, we invest in understanding the complexities of this market, we build our customer relationships. So depending on the situation, we tweak some of this at the forefront to make sure that we are successful in whatever we're trying to do in the country.
I cannot recall a time when it has been more unnerving and frankly discouraging to do business. The business environment is highly vitiated for all companies, Indian as well as multinational. And things like the Vodafone decision, the retrospective amendment, GAR, etc., hardly inspire much confidence. But again, if you look back at history, there have been many moments in time where things were just as dark, if not more bleak. And companies that stuck it out, Unilever, Ericsson, etc., have done exceedingly well, because what they realize, we're in for the long haul. What we need to do is tenaciously cling on, just hang in there, not slide backwards, and pretty soon there'll be good times as well. And then we can spurt to the head of the pack. So companies that have a long-term view of the market and steadily continue to take steps forward are the ones that will do well in India.
And this approach of keeping an eye firmly on the long-term revenue target is what Swedish furniture retailer Ikea wants to adopt here in India. In January 2013, after a 6-year wait, Ikea finally won approval to open outlets in India. But then again, now that they're in, they don't want to make haste to launch.
So up to now was the approval in order to have the possibility to operate retail in India. Now we are allowed to do retail in India, and now it's the time for us to start to approach the states and also the cities in order to have a dialogue, a cooperation. So this is our next step that will start over the coming month, is to have a good understanding about what is the city structure and what is the connections and where we should be located, and the metro connection and the highway, and then to find the right setup. So we will start now.
And while this optimism is commendable, developments in the last couple of months show that it's going to be a game of hardball. The government has barred Ikea from selling food in its stores, and Ikea at its end is standing its ground.
And another Nordic venture that's learned some tough lessons about doing business in India is telecom company Telenor. Their India management, led by Sigve Breck, literally took to the streets in 2012 to salvage operations after the Supreme Court ordered the cancellation of its permits in the 2G licensing scandal. Since then, they've had to shut down operations in Mumbai. They've been embroiled in a legal battle with former partner and real estate firm Unitech, but Breck has shown the kind of resilience to continue doing business here that's quite unmatched.
And since this rally in Ahmedabad a year ago, things have started to look up for Telenor. They broke even in some circles in Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat, and in the coming year they believe they'll have a similar breakthrough in the remaining markets as well. Also, surviving the rough and tumble of India has given Telenor several insights which it is exporting to other Asian markets. For instance, Uninor has implemented a unique distribution management system which tracks distribution, networks and consumer usage. And under this model, profitability is measured on the basis of the number of each tower's subscribers. Around $900 million, in fact, is the amount that Telenor hopes to save in 5 years by implementing new operating models.
And then the last thing is cultivate resilience. This is a time where it's going to be difficult to get approvals and permissions. It's going to be difficult to get decisions, policy decisions, or any decision. And you need to develop this, the capabilities to, build relationships and try and influence this. One day, if you're tenacious, these things will start moving again.
These are test years, and it's only in the next few that we will have a clear reading of which corporations were tenacious enough to survive the rough and tumble that is India. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Conquering the Chaos. Till next week, from all of us here, goodbye and many thanks for watching.